Right, on Saturday night, Kilkenny got over the line in the All-Ireland Camogie final. They beat Galway on a 114 to 111 scoreline in Croke Park. And I'm delighted to say that Kilkenny boss Brian Dowling is on the line. Brian, how are you getting on?
Not too bad now. We're delighted after Saturday night. Obviously, I think it's a huge relief to us all to finally get over the line, and we're over the moon now.
How is that relief then exercised over the last couple of days? What do you do? What do you get up to? And I guess trying to stay safe, but also trying to let loose with the jubilation is a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it's a strange one, all right. We didn't get back to Kilkenny on Saturday night, I think, till 2:30 or 3 o'clock. But there was some parents on the motorway in their cars waiting for us on the way home, and there was a few parents and families at the hotel and everything. We were parked in Spring Hill Hotel on Saturday evening, and then yesterday we just met up for tea with the management group. Not really sure what the players got up to, but look, it's strange times, but we're just the celebrations, I suppose, are low key and different to other years, but I'm sure the girls are enjoying it anyway.
Yeah, what's that like in a deserted stadium, knowing that you've reached the promised land, that the disappointment of the last 3 years has been blown out of the water and there's no volume outside of the players and the management? It must have a special sense of poignancy around it, Brian, that actually you can get to enjoy it in one another's company.
Yeah, look, I suppose it was strange, driving into Croke Park, nobody around, and it's just an eerie feeling that it's a great stadium to see nobody in it. And but I suppose, I kind of said it yesterday there to the lads, I think it worked in our favour in a way. We're coming in under a lot of pressure, and I think, that was kind of taken away from us because the crowd wasn't there, the build-up wasn't the same as it was the last couple of years, and I think it was something different, even on a Saturday night. I think it kind of just took away from the last few years, and I think that was good for the girls, and that was taken away from them. Look, it was strange to find whistle, but I suppose it didn't matter whether it was 70,000 or nobody there. It was just that feeling, that elation, just to finally get over the line after the heartbreak of the last few years. I don't think it mattered who was there. Just as you said there, it was a group of people together that had been together for the year, and it was absolutely brilliant.
When you took over this year, Brian, how hopeful were you that this day would come? How much of an individual focus was it, and how optimistic were you that you would get over the line?
Look, I suppose you always dream and you always hope, and I felt we had a great chance of winning the All-Ireland, but I suppose a few setbacks. My first game in charge was against Clare in Nolan Park, and we got beaten. I think first time Clare beat us in Nolan Park, and then we went down and played Cork, and we got a bit of a trimming down there, and it wasn't looking too good, to be honest with you. And look, we were missing a lot of players during the league. A few players hadn't decided whether they were going to come back, and we had a few injuries and stuff like that. But I suppose looking back now, the league was hugely beneficial to us, because a lot of the girls who played in that league were playing on Saturday night, and that really stood to them. And in one sense, I suppose the lockdown worked in our favour, because players, came back. Megan Farrell was supposed to be in Australia, and she couldn't go, so she decided to come back. And Anna Farrell had a shoulder operation; she wouldn't have been available if the championship go ahead. And so, I suppose if Kellyanne Doyle obviously did her cruise ship, she would have been gone as well. So, it probably worked in our favour that these guys were available for on Saturday night.
That's interesting, because I guess sorry, Nathan, go ahead.
Sorry, no, Brian, I was just going to ask about the hurt that the players have suffered over the last few years, losing 3 All-Ireland finals in a row, and as a manager going into an All-Ireland final, how often that comes up, because I guess you can use it as a motivating factor to drive them forward, but at the same time you don't want to be reminding them going into an All-Ireland final that a lot of them have lost quite a few of them. Yeah,
I suppose it was trying to get the balance right. It was mentioned, but not overly much. I think we just kind of we had a good chat about the start of the year in January, and we kind of we looked at different things and maybe why we weren't winning the All-Ireland, instead of maybe thinking about the feeling about it. Look at the actual stats and stuff like that, and why weren't we winning them? And one thing was crying out to me was we don't score goals in All-Ireland finals. We scored 1 goal in 4 All-Ireland finals, and that was the one they won. So that was one thing we had to rectify. And obviously, look, we only scored 1 goal on Saturday night, but that was probably the winning score. And look, we just looked at different things. In last year's final, I suppose people would have said that Galway outworked us and outbattled us, and just on Saturday night we just went up and said, look, whatever happened, that we were going to be the hardest working team leaving Croke Park, and if that was good enough to win the All-Ireland. And just kind of tried to take the pressure off the girls in that sense, and just I think the Cork game was huge to us. I think nobody really knew where we were, including ourselves, going down to Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and to win that game. I said at the time, I don't think it was our best performance, but we just found a way to win, and these girls needed that. In a big game, they stepped up and they just battled it. And that game really stood to us on Saturday night, I think.
You mentioned the goal. It was an unbelievable strike from the penalty from Denise Gall in the end, and the way she managed to keep the ball away from the keeper keeper didn't stand a chance really in the end. Was that something that you practiced? You mentioned there that goals were a target for you. Was penalties, practice in training, those sorts of situations in games?
Yeah, Denise was practicing for the last few weeks. You know, I was kind of trying to get her to practice freeze there for the year, but she was happy enough to hit him. But I asked Tommy Shetland, there was a coach with me, and his brother Henry, obviously the greatest free taker of all time, you know, asked us to meet Denise for a chat a couple of weeks ago, and he went through a few things with her, and you know, the message I wanted to get across to her that she has to practice freeze all the time, you know, and I think Henry said that to her, and every night she was half an hour before training hitting freeze and hitting penalties. And you know, I think last year when there was 3 in a goal, it was impossible to get 3 girls to stand on the goal with Denise hitting a 21-yard free, you know, she hit them so well. I heard her saying in an interview she missed a load of them on Thursday night. I wasn't looking then, obviously, because anytime I've seen her hitting free, she's burying them in the top corner. She's an unbelievable player, you know, she's so cool and calm. You know, she said to me on Saturday night, she looked over to the line to see was she wanted to hit over the bar or goal, but you know, not for a second did I think of taking the point. You know, I think to win All Ireland you have to go for it, and you know, we needed that goal. I think if we had to hit over the bar or goal, it probably would have come back and you know, got another score. So we had to go for it, and never doubt with Denise. You know, she's just unbelievable there.
It's interesting that you brought Henry Shetland in. I guess tapping into the great sporting culture that already exists in Kilkenny is one way to get ahead in life. And have you communicated with other former players, other managers, or any of those Camogie teams that would have won All Irelands in the past to try and get them over the edge this year after the disappointment of the previous 3 years?
I know, look, Henry just would have met Denise privately, you know, just to go through a few things like that. Yeah, there would have been a few things, you know, would have, you know, met Nick Bowen at the start of the year, Dublin football manager, you know. I think Dublin were kind of an inspiration to us, really, because, you know, they'd gone through the same, they'd lost 3 All Irelands, and, you know, I think Grace Rice put it up on our WhatsApp group shortly after Dublin won the All Ireland, said, look what they're after doing, you know, they're in the same position as us, you know. I suppose after you lose so many finals, you're just looking for a way out and you're looking for hope, and you know, I think the Dublin lady footballers, what they've done is absolutely incredible to lose 3, and now they're going for the 4th All Ireland in a row. And you know, just to get advice off these people, just what did they do, and just, you know, just pick up a small few things was just great.
And what does Mick Bowen tell you?
Just a few things, just to believe, I suppose, in yourselves, and it's a new setup, and you know, you're going to try different things, and you know, just to believe in your group and just focus on different things. You know, I suppose it just feels so long ago now since the Mettenberg chat. It was nearly over 12 months ago now.
After the penalty, the body language is very interesting. Denise Gall is telling her teammates to calm down, to focus, to work on the next ball. Was there a big psychological emphasis placed on this year as well? You mentioned the goals as a very tangible way of trying to actually get over the line, but psychologically, was there a big effort done on that level of things as well?
Yeah, it was, and we did a lot last year as well. Like, you know, look, no matter what we say, I suppose there's a lot of baggage and there's a lot of stuff, you know, and there's a lot of lack of confidence there when you lose All Ireland. And you know, I really think we have great players in Kilkenny, but I think after losing these All Ireland finals, you know, we're kind of maybe holding them back a little bit. And you know, we would have had Jerry Fitzpatrick there from Waterford helping us out with the psychology, and you know, he's absolutely fantastic, and what he's done with the girls has been unbelievable. You know, wouldn't have been overused or anything like that, but you know, he worked on a few things, and when the player individually needed to have a chat and would have met with him, and you know, it's just great to have somebody there to the girls know that they can talk to, you know. And Fergus Heffernan would have been involved the last couple of years, but stepped away last year, and Jerry just came on board and just, you know, quietly worked in the background there, and it was great.
And I guess that's the sort of thing you can definitely tap into, being 2 points down at half time, to offset any of the little doubts or worries that might have crept into the minds.
Yeah, like I don't know. For some reason, I wasn't worried at half time. You know, last year we were 6 points down, and that was a big worry because it was a big lead claw back. But for some reason, on Saturday night, I just think, you know, I thought we were in a good place going at half time. We probably knew we had more in us, and I just felt if we could get ahead, that you know, that hurt and the drive and intensity that we can get into the girls would get us over the line eventually. And you know, that's the way it panned out. And look, Galway are an absolutely fantastic team. They've been a form team all year, and look, we knew we had to perform to the best of our ability to get over the line, you know. And you know, even at the end there with 3 points in it, you know, we were hanging on, and you know, Galway are a great team. They'll pull you back, and we're just lucky enough to get over the line in the end. You
mentioned the hunger that your players would have needed to have brought to the table, and you would have needed to be hungrier than Cork, then Galway, en route to actually winning this All Ireland. When you see a match develop the way it did on Saturday night, where a lot of it is being played between the two 65s, is part of you thinking, this is good for us because I know we have that hunger, and that's ultimately what a lot of those exchanges are going to come down to?
Yeah, I suppose I kind of felt the game would be, Galway were strong around the middle. They probably got on top of there last year in the All-Ireland final. Kilkenny had an incredible game in the final last year. I think she had 26 possessions. So, Aoife Dunne, who was a super player in midfield. So that was an area we targeted, and we kind of picked a strong half-forward line, to win the battle out there. But, it's kind of funny the way it worked out. It was our full forward line that got our main scores. I think we got 6 points in play from Aoife Dunne and Mary O'Connor and Katie Nolan, who were starting in their first All-Ireland. And, if you had to say that to me before the match, that, I think Denise and Anne Dalton got a point each. Marion didn't score from play, but the three girls, the new girls stepped up. And, I think sometimes that's what happens in All-Ireland finals. It's the unexpected things happen. And, it was great that these new players stepped up for us this year. And, I think that was probably the difference in the last couple of years.
For sure. Well, it's been a great result for Kilkenny as a whole, for Kilkenny Camogie, after the disappointment of the last few years. Congratulations on your success, Brian, and all the best with the next couple of weeks, with trying to keep distant while also trying to enjoy things. Thanks a million for taking the call.
Okay, thanks, lads.
That is Kilkenny Camogie boss Brian Dowling there on the line. They beat Galway 114 to 111 in the All-Ireland Camogie final on Saturday night. Right, here is Kilkenny star Grace Walsh from that game in conversation with Valerie Wheeler.
Grace, first of all, congratulations, All-Ireland champions 2020. How does it feel?
Oh, I couldn't even describe it to you, Valerie. It's actually incredible playing out there today, and do you know what? It's going to give us something to smile about when we look back in 2020.
Well, it's been a tough year for everybody, and a tough year for everybody involved, and we never thought we'd have a championship. And to come back, I'd say, year after year, Grace, after disappointment and losing 3 consecutive finals, and to finally get over the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? It just shows the belief and the spirit that's in that group. We've so much belief and confidence in ourselves. To come back after losing 3 All-Irelands in a row, and to win after probably one of the toughest years that everybody in the world has put down this year. So it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
To be part of a panel, I know the celebrations. I think you're going to go down in history for the longest celebrations after a full-time whistle, are you?
Oh, probably. Do you know what? We might never get there again, so why not make the absolute most of it? I suppose it's strange not having a crowd there, but you know what? It probably makes it even more special. You're just together. It's just the team. It's the family. Do you know that you've worked really hard with all year, and you get to enjoy the moment with the people that matter the most.
Yeah, and it's nice for you all to go up individually and lift the cup. I mean, you were hoping that she'd be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. To get up there and to lift that cup. Jesus, I didn't think we'd be back here again. So it was great.
Looking down from above, watching out the game, Grace, it looked like a really tough physical battle. I mean, bodies must be sore.
Absolutely. I think my legs are more sore from diving on the ground there in front of the hill rather than during the match. But against Galway every year, it's always so physical. Do I love playing against Galway, and it's because the two of us hurl against each other. Do it's not a really tactical game. We all just want to go out and play hurling and camogie, and I suppose that's what was done there today. But it was physical, it was tough, it was fast, and obviously enjoyable for us.
The last water break, we could hear Brian above saying to you, there's only 15 minutes, come on, the rest of your lives, there's only 15 minutes, girls. I mean, I was feeling hyper above, so I can't imagine how hyped you got after his speech.
Yeah, absolutely. 15 minutes left. It's going to be the last game of the year. Why not put absolutely everything into it? We're after training like dogs now for the last few months. So, do you know what? Everybody worked so hard there, and thank God we came out on top.
I know you're not going to be able to celebrate, but I'm sure you'll do it in true style when you can.
Yeah, exactly. Once we all get vaccinated now, and this coronavirus gets the hell out of there, we'll be celebrating.
That's a classic nurse line now, once we're all vaccinated.
Vaccination.
Grace, thanks very much, and enjoy the celebration.
Thanks, Valerie.